Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to start on time because people are on Zoom. In fact, there are more people on Zoom than in the sanctuary. So it's 6 o'clock. So we invite you to take your seat. It's great to see everyone. Before we begin, and we welcome people on Zoom, if you could raise your hand if you are a Temple Beth Elohim member who has not been in our sanctuary for 2 years. Anyone new or back?
TBE members who haven't been in the sanctuary in 2 years?
Ah, there we go.
Oh, it's been less than 2 years. Okay.
Well, welcome home. To our visitors, we're glad you're with us as well. Let us begin in song and fill up this space. Hopefully you can hear us. We've been working on our microphones.
Ya lai 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 ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai la lai ya lai 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 ya Shall I continue, Rabbi?
Well, I think you want to teach a new nigun.
I do.
But we would kind of like the people on Zoom to learn it as well.
They're not with us yet?
Not yet.
All right.
Let's keep singing.
I love that. There's reason to sing, and the reason is that it's Shabbos and we're together. Let's join. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la. If you're my student, you know what to do. Ya la 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 la. Oh, wait. Let's try that again. The high note. Ya la 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 la. Thank you very much. Ya la 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 la. Ya la ya la 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 la. Here it comes again. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la ya la 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 la. One more time. La 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 my friends, a week or two ago, Cantor Suffren actually shared with me this beautiful nigun that she learned from another one of our local colleagues. And this nigun, it comes to us from the Ukraine. And so I'd like to hold them in our hearts, our friends, our sisters, our brothers in the Ukraine, as we learn this new melody together. Let's try that together. Next part is similar. Listen. We're going to keep going. It's sweet, it's simple, it's a little bit of a waltz. Let's see if we can try the whole thing together. Sounds in our bones. Let's try it one more time all together. Here we go.
So we've now come together as one community. And so if you're in the sanctuary, we invite you to turn to page 120 for the lighting of our Shabbat candles. If you're home on Zoom, we invite you to place the candles in front of you, which invites us to place you on the screen. And in the sanctuary, I'd like to call upon our bat mitzvah tomorrow evening. Rachel, where are you?
She's right here. Come on up, Rachel.
Where are you? There you are. Rachel Ryan, if you'll come forward to light our candles for us this evening. Here I'm looking at your parents, and you're in another spot with your family. So here we go. You light both candles, and then we'll join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbos. We'll see you up here tomorrow. Page 130, we continue with words from Kabbalat Shabbat, our celebration as we greet this new day, with the words L'chuna Ranana, which means come, let us sing with joy. It is Shabbat.
Every single note in this song. Let's join together. Nikan mafanav. Everybody should be singing. Betodah. Bizmiro. So I was told I can't clap loudly because it'll blow the microphone, but you can clap loudly. Let's try this together again. Lechu niranena. If I'm smiling at you, I hope you're singing back to me. Nikan mafanav. Betodah. With gratitude. Bizmiro. Narialo. Hai, lai, lai.
Thankfully, we are now in a different place than when we first arrived, and we are ready to greet the Sabbath bride. Page 138. Beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to greet Shabbat.
Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela shamor v'zachor b'diborecha hishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'l'tiferet v'li tehila echad dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela echad dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקרם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבור אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise, we face the entrance to greet the Shabbat's bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
Turn to page 146. Stay elevated to the call to worship.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
We respond together. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. And as you find your seat, notice all the places where it supports you. Notice the ground beneath your feet. Notice the air that is surrounding you, that connects you to each and every person in this room. We take a deep breath together. We let it out. We are here in this moment. We are connected to each other. We are connected to all that is. We turn to page 152 for the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
This evening is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It is the first day of the first month of the Jewish year. We have many New Years in Jewish tradition. This is but one of them. But this month of Nisan, which begins the Shabbats, we celebrate the renewal of spring, the rebirth of the world around us, and of course it reminds us that Pesach is very near. And so we gather in that feeling of freedom, of celebration, as we turn together to Mi Chamocha on page 158.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue on page 161 with our familiar melody, Let There Be Love, Let There Be Peace, on this Shabbat.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkivenu השכיבנו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו, השכיבנו לשלום, השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו, השכיבנו לשלום. Let there be love, let there be love, understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
I invite us to turn to page 164 as we rise in body or in spirit for the words of the Amidah. Of course, Shabbat offers us a space and a place to reflect on the gratitude in our lives, the blessings that we say thank you to God for on Shabbat from the last week. And so as we rise and direct our hearts towards the Ark, I invite you to reflect on those moments of blessing. And on Zoom, I invite you to place them in the chat box so we can surround ourselves with words of blessing at this time. Page 164.
Adonai, Sefatai Tiva, Viagi Tehilateha, Adonai, Sefatai Tiva. Open up our lips and we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we can feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole. And we will praise,
We will praise,
we will praise your name. Adonai, Sefatai Tivta.
Viagi
Tehilateha.
Adonai,
Sefatai Tivta.
Viagi
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Let us take a few moments of personal prayer and meditation, either with words on the page or the meditations and thoughts of our hearts. It's been a difficult week in the state of Israel. And so I want to invite those of us with a prayer book to turn to page 377 as we offer a prayer for the state of Israel, Avinu Shebashamayim. We can read together at the bottom of the page. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And we can say, Amen. And we return to the Ukrainian Nigun and into Oseh Shalom on page 180, for we ask for peace in Ukraine and peace all over the world, and we join together in this melody and these words.
Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai, yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, nai, nai. Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen.
Page 371, we join together in prayers of healing, Amisha Berach, for those in need of healing of mind, of body, of spirit, of soul. So if you are thinking of someone in need of healing in the sanctuary, I invite you to rise and we can pass through and we can share the names of those we're asking for healing upon them on this Shabbat. On Zoom, I invite you to place the names of those you were thinking of in the chat room.
Mishebeirach Avotenu Mikol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mikol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Gather in community when we seek strength, and we gather in community for moments of celebration. So this Shabbat, if you're experiencing a Shehechianu moment, a moment of God-given joy, we are thinking of those perhaps with a birthday in this past week. Anyone in our sanctuary who had a birthday in this past week? Shehechianu to you, and Mazal Tov to you. Beautiful. Some birthdays around our room. How about on Zoom, folks? I see you here. I'm looking at you like two ways. Folks on Zoom with some birthdays.
A little bird has come to
Ooh,
me and
yes,
flown in the
Rabbi?
message that on Zoom, Julian Busgang is celebrating his 97th birthday.
Whoa, Mazal Tov.
And Sue Brown is celebrating her 80th, so we want to say happy
Mazal
birthday
Tov
to
to
you.
you. Beautiful. Happy birthday. How about some anniversaries? Anniversaries in this fine, beautiful spring week. Anybody in our sanctuary celebrating an anniversary, special moment? How about folks on Zoom?
And for
We've
that,
got some
I'll
more
add a
birthdays,
small gem
beautiful.
is texting me. A small gem,
You've got
think
an
about it.
extra little advantage here.
Thank you,
with
Rabbi
the text.
Sapphire. I know that Laura and Andrew Klopfer are celebrating an anniversary,
Oh, Mazal Tov to
and the
you.
Copens as well. It's a happy anniversary.
Well,
And finally, I want to add Rabbi Franklin is on Zoom with many others. So it's really nice that we have hundreds of people on Zoom, and for the first time, hundreds of people in the sanctuary. So for that, for me, it's a Shehechianu moment as well.
yes. Anyone in the room for the first time in a while? Beautiful.
Or first time ever.
Right, and we have, last but not least, some big B'nai Mitzvah, this weekend. I know Eli is here, and Rachel's here, and Jake, you are all here, so a big Mazal Tov to you and to your families for all of these moments. We sing Shehechianu, how grateful we are.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu
בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו, מלך העולם.
מלך העולם,
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
So as many people here know, the fight for social justice has always been an integral part of Temple Beth Elohim. Not just today in our racial justice initiative and Green Committee, gun violence, immigrant justice, the welcoming of our Syrian and Afghan families, TBE Table, our Partakers Prisoner Rehabilitation Program, our upcoming fundraiser for Ukraine. As you can tell, we know we are deeply committed to social justice. And it was certainly true in the 1980s as well. And it was nowhere more apparent than in the fight for Soviet Jewry. Now, it's been a while, but we need to remember that the fight for Soviet Jewry was not a refugee issue. For you see, refugees want to stay, but they have to leave. But in the case of the Soviet Union, the Jews wanted to leave, but had to stay. It was stamped on their passport, the word Jew. A Jew had to stay. A Jew couldn't travel. A Jew could achieve great levels of education, but was often forbidden from many academic and professional associations. For the Jew was often seen as a traitor, and their freedoms were limited. They were spied upon, harassed, followed, simply because they were Jewish, unable to express support for Israel, unable to learn Hebrew, unable to observe Jewish holidays, and of course, unable to leave the country. And so, as many of you here know, a movement erupted in the United States to free what became known as Prisoners of Zion. And a small synagogue in Wellesley, with many of you here, led by my predecessor, Rabbi Ronnie Weiss, and many members of our community, helped lead the way, with some even traveling to the Soviet Union and secretly visiting these refuseniks and delivering goods, and in some of the most extraordinary cases, actually welcoming those refuseniks to America, even to Wellesley, right here. And so today on Rabbi Weiss's third yahrzeit, I thought it would be most appropriate to have his daughter Lee help us remember by sharing words of memory. For you see, Jews don't study history. History is the study of what happened to other people. Jews don't study history. Instead, Jews talk about memory. Because memory is not the study of what happened to other people. Memory is what happened to us. That's what it means to be a part of a people. To actually have a collective memory where it's not their story, but it's our own. That's why in a few weeks, when we're told to remember, we're not just told to remember that they were slaves in the land of Egypt. We're told to remember, in the words of Haggadah, as though we ourselves came out of Egypt, that it happened to us. That is what it means as a Jewish people to remember. That is collective memory. And so tonight, as we walk towards Passover, I want to make a plea to our community, and that is that we begin to collect our memories, by formally creating a temple archive with pictures and stories and recordings, so that the words and deeds of our members who worked so hard in the 1980s will continue to inspire us to love and connect, inspire us towards justice and transformation and freedom. And so if you'll volunteer, whether you're in the sanctuary or on Zoom, I'm looking for leaders to help us to collect the memories of so many individuals who helped play important roles. But this evening, I'd like to call upon Lee to share specifically from the perspective of the daughter of the rabbi at that time, for it is Rabbi Weiss's third yahrzeit. And so she speaks words of memory of her father, and performs the greatest mitzvah, and that is to share memory with all of us. So Lee, if you'll come forward, where are you? There you are. And Joanne, Shabbat Shalom. Glad you're with us as well.
Thank you.
Oh, let me turn this on.
Good. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be back here. I learned last week that Misha Fuchs-Rabinovich passed away from cancer in Maryland. I don't know how many of you remember Misha and his family. I know some of you certainly do. He and his wife Marina and their son Mishka came to our temple community in 1987 from Moscow, part of the wave of Soviet Jews who were escaping persecution in the former Soviet Union. Mishka, their son, was one of the first Soviet Jews to have a bar mitzvah in America, right here in this congregation. And this congregation has a proud and important connection to them during the time that my father, whose third yahrzeit is tonight, was the rabbi here. Their story has particular resonance now as we mourn Misha's death and remember my father, and watch the dual horrors of war in Ukraine and repression again in Russia, and also as we approach Pesach. And so I want to share a few of my memories of their story and the important role that this congregation played. Some of you were deeply involved and have your own memories and stories to share. So Misha applied for his family to emigrate from the Soviet Union around 1979. And maybe Max will go ahead and put up a couple of photos. As we're getting those up, after he applied to leave the Soviet Union, he lost his job as a meteorologist and was stripped of his doctorate in mathematics and physics, something that happened to many Soviet Jews at the time. So this is Misha, and this is exactly how I remember him, tough and full of life. Maybe we'll go to the next one. You can see a little bit about his family, his wife Marina and their son Mishka. This is in 1985, Misha in the middle and Marina and my father in front of their apartment building in Moscow, the first time my father visited him. And then inside their apartment, my father is standing and Marina is in the red sweater. There were other Soviet Jews who gathered there as well. Maybe we'll hold off on the last one. So after they applied to immigrate from the Soviet Union and they were stripped of their professional degrees and their jobs, they went without mail or any contact with the outside world for more than 4 years. 40 years ago, there was no internet and there was no cell phone service. So they were completely and utterly isolated. When my father first visited the family in Moscow in 1985, Misha was on a hunger strike that lasted 35 days, a desperate measure to bring attention to the plight of his family and other Soviet Jews. And it was only because an American doctor visited and told him that his life was seriously in danger that he ended his hunger strike. The Temple Beth Elohim community adopted the family and was deeply involved in helping them escape and resettle here. And it was a truly profound experience for me to be involved. My family visited the Fuchs Rabinoviches and other Soviet Jews in Moscow and Leningrad in 1986, a year after my father had been there when I was a college student. For weeks before we left, Temple members dropped off medications, medical supplies, clothing, you remember, right? That we would bring. Our living room floor was transformed into a sorting and packing area. And each of my mom and sister and my dad and I memorized the medical conditions of the different people we would visit and adopted them as our own, so that when the authorities stopped us when we came into the country and asked, "What are these medications and why do you have so many?" we could explain that one of us was a diabetic and another had a particular heart condition, and we had a story that we were traveling around the world and needed all of these medications. When we were there, we had to be very careful not to call attention to the people we were visiting, for fear that they would be further harassed by the KGB. We only called them from public telephone booths. Remember those? Some of you weren't even born. We knew that our hotel room was likely bugged, so we never made phone calls or talked about our visits in our hotel rooms. We traveled by subway and not by taxi to hope that we would not minimize the chances that we would be followed. And we learned enough of the Cyrillic alphabet. This is what I did my junior year in college instead of studying for biology. We learned enough of the Cyrillic alphabet so that we could read the names of subway stops. And my sister and I traveled separately from my parents to be less conspicuous. We would get out at a subway stop and meet the family we were visiting and quietly walk through dark back streets only at night to their homes. Several congregants here made similar trips. And perhaps the most important thing that we all brought was hope, and the message that Jews in other parts of the world cared and were fighting for their release. The Fuchs Rabinoviches were finally permitted to leave Moscow in 1987 after an intense pressure campaign led by this congregation. Many prominent politicians, Michael and Kitty Dukakis, were involved, Mayor Raymond Flynn, and other leaders. And at that time, my mother and I, and a Russian friend of the Fuchs Rabinoviches, who had already immigrated to America, met the Fuchs Rabinovich family in Vienna, which was the first stop in their resettlement process. And I'll never forget sitting with Misha and Marina and Mishka on a bench in the middle of the beautiful city of Vienna, wanting to show them, so desperately just wanting to show them the shops with the beautiful pastries and charcuterie, and say, look, this is your new life. This is what you have to look forward to. There's so much good. And of course, they were terrified, shell-shocked, having just left their homes, their family, and everything they knew, given 2 days' notice and 2 suitcases to pack. The reality of their situation was so unfathomable to me that I didn't really appreciate how brave they were until much, much later. And when they were finally permitted to come to America and they resettled here in Wellesley, there was a tremendous outpouring of support from TBE members. Every single aspect of daily living had to be relearned. Driving, going to the grocery store, library cards, getting a job, going to school, doctor's appointments, speaking English. It was completely overwhelming, and day after day after day, for more than a year, many members of this congregation showed up to help this family create a new life. You offered time, treasure, and love, and you wove this family into the fabric of this wonderful community. Recalling this time, I'm reminded of Rabbi Tarfon's teaching in Pirkei Avot, that it is not your responsibility to complete the task, but neither are you free to desist from it. There was so much to do, and everyone was needed. Misha went on to have a wonderful career at NASA and as a professor at the University of Maryland. Mishka went to college here, and Marina helped build a new life for the family in Potomac, Maryland. It is said that when you save a life, you save the whole world, Pituach Nefesh. This experience was a profound and wonderful example for me of many people coming together to change the course of a family's future and really to save their lives. In 2 weeks' time, we celebrate Passover. We will retell the story of the Exodus from Egypt as we watch the flood of refugees from Ukraine. In past years, it was refugees from Syria and Afghanistan and other places. And so I'm reminded of the Fuchs Rabinovich family and other families this TBE community has helped over those years. There will always be a need for us to come together in support of those who need our assistance. And I feel very, very fortunate that my father and this Temple Beth Elohim community understood this need at that time and created such a beautiful example for me.
Thank you, Lee. Zichronam livracha, may their memories endure among us as a blessing. We offer these words which we know have held us together as Am Yisrael, as a people for generations. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai.
Page 586, Aleinu, if you're able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד.
Let's be seated.
ושמו אחד.
We continue with Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. And if you are here this evening in our sanctuary to observe a yahrzeit, or are currently within the period of mourning, meaning you've lost an immediate family member during the past 30 days or a parent during the past 11 months, we invite you to rise if you're able at this time to recite the name or names of those individuals you're remembering. Did we miss anyone as we came around? If not, then in support of all the mourners in our midst, if we can rise. And if the mourners will join me in leading us on page 598 with the words, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'amad yivrach ruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagalav izman kariv imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei omayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata ta'amiran b'yama v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Eli, where are you? Will you come forward to lead us in Kiddush? And as you come forward, the prime timers are gathering at 7:30 on Zoom for Jews in Rock and Roll and on Broadway. So if you're a prime timer, whatever that means, or you just want to join in the fun at 7:30, join us on Zoom. Lots going on. Hopefully you're getting emails. Lee, thank you for sharing your words this evening. I'm deeply appreciative. Cantor Zell, are you still? Oh, she's on Zoom. So maybe, Cantor Rosenberg, you can help. Next Friday night, it's at 6 o'clock or 7:30?
Yes,
6 o'clock service,
and then I believe a 7:30.
but we have a guest musician,
Yep.
Cantor Alberto Mizrahi.
Yep.
So we invite you to join with us. Is it all in the service or at 7:30?
I believe there's both. Going to be a lot of music at 6 o'clock, a lot of music at 7:30. It's a whole musical weekend.
Great. Join us next week. And I think there's a dinner as well for the first time in many years. So come, join us. All right, Eli, you ready to go?
Yep.
We are on page 123. Get us started.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabar kocho be'ahava u'ratzonin hilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim Ve'shabat kodsheha Be'ahava uvratzon Inheltanu Baruch Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. You can take a sip. I think it's juice. Juice.
Should go on.
All right. And now Rabbi Sherman. Wait, don't go anywhere yet. If you'll uncover the challah for us. You didn't even know about this, but we're going to let you join us up here for Motzi. Let's get together, everybody. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Motzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avo.
So I know it's not a black home-baked challah like is so common in your family, but you can take a bite of the store-bought challah, which hopefully is yummy anyway, and we can say to you, Mazel Tov. We look forward to tomorrow. Mazel Tov to your family, to Rachel's family. Let's wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.
La, la, la.